Hi there. Hello. How are you doing? I've been looking forward to this actually, to talking to you today and saying most importantly, Happy New Year. That's an important time for us all. And just looking at myself on the screen here, I think I need to have a bit of a shave, don't I? Look at all this. Growing all sorts of strange hair everywhere. How was your Christmas and New Year period anyway? It was a bit of a manic one for me because I released New York just before the Christmas time and had that last week, didn't I, where I did Facebook Lives, every single one. And then I had 2 and a bit, I think 3 weeks off now it'll be, won't it, from the 18th? Yeah, 21st, something like that. Anyway, 2.5, almost 2 weeks off. I've done a bit of writing. I've done some sort of behind the scenes stuff, although writing isn't behind the scenes, is it? That's sort of front and center. I've done some bits, but I didn't email anyone on my mailing list. I didn't do any Facebook Lives, hardly reply to anything unless I got like a direct personal email from someone. So yeah, I wanted that time off. I hope it's been restful for you as well. If you're joining me, as always, say hello to me in the comments. It means so much to me. And I'm going to explain why that is in a minute, and why that's quite so important to me today and this year as well. And there we go. Books and beer, that's what I've been calling it. Although I'm not drinking beer today. I'm just one of those where you have so much over the Christmas period because you're just relaxing, and that's great. And I don't resent that at all. That now, come a normal Wednesday afternoon, I was totally happy with my cup of tea. So that's what I'm having. So cheers. So what are you drinking? Are you on the soft drinks too? I'm not saying I'm giving up for the whole of January or even for a whole couple of days. Maybe at the weekend. We'll see how I feel. Right, let's see who's in the comments. Steve, how you doing, man? You all right? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. You've moved location again now, Steve, aren't you? But I think you're still similar time distance away. So thank you for getting in. Pondy says, good afternoon, Luke. Lady Grey today. It is not. It's a PG tips with almond milk. Which I've got back into drinking, which I go through phases of drinking normal milk and almond milk and soya milk and these sorts of things, but I've gone for the almond one today. So cheers to that. Stephen Taylor says, nice to see you're still alive, Luke. Yes. Hello. Good to see you. And in fact, Stephen Taylor is going to be joining me live on this chat in 2 weeks' time, which is really exciting. I'm going to talk about that in a moment too. Steve Moore says he's just having coffee now, quite early for me. Yeah, have you gone further back in time than you're near Seattle, aren't you? So it's right on the opposite side. Stuart, my man. Oh, fantastic to see you. Oh, it's great. How are you doing? Are you keeping all right? So you're the other end. You're Australia, so you're massively ahead of us. But thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you've had a lovely Christmas and New Year as well. So this is the live show which I'm calling Books and Beer. Where's my thing? There it is. Books and Beer. Although I'm not having a beer today, so I'm sort of ruining it. Which is off-topic author chat with me and friends. And I've said that because I'm going to invite my friends on it, and it's not always going to be about books, and certainly not always going to be about beer. Although there'll be the two main things. There'll be a good amount of travel. There'll be a good amount of funny just stories. There'll be a good amount of talking about all sorts of stuff. So that's what I wanted. And I sent an email today to people on my mailing list, my first one of the year, which I talked about New Year's resolutions. I'm going to ask you yours in a minute. So if you've got an interesting New Year's resolution, what is it? Put it in the comments and I'll go down through them in a moment. And we'll talk about them. I'm going to put this back up on the shelf. I'm really pleased with it. This is like the non-proof copy, only arrived a couple of days ago, and it looks better than I thought the proof copy does. The colours are sharper. I'm really impressed with it. So if you've got yours, winner, amazing. I'm going to need a bigger shelf soon, though. That's one of the things. So your New Year's resolution, and I said in my email, I flipped this around actually, and I said, I don't really make New Year's resolutions, despite me asking yours. But what I do is I sort of allocate a word to the year. And I know this is going to sound quite hippie-ish and quite out there, but I sort of pick a word which links to the sort of things I'm going to do. And I explained this in the email, and I'll just go through it because I thought it was quite interesting. I thought it was quite useful. So in 2018, it was the year of exploration. And in 2018, I did lots of like different new stuff. I did my master's degree. I started writing Kathmandu. I started a couple of podcast projects, which I did for a bit. I started a new blog and all these sorts of things because I was trying stuff and just tried out lots of different things. I knew not all of them would work, but that wasn't the point. It was just to sort of try them. And then the following year, 2019, I called it the year of focus, because then I picked a couple of those things that I wanted to carry on with. So then I was like, right, I really want to get on with this writing. I'm loving the writing process. Some of the other things fell by the wayside. That was fine. And I really sort of got into the story. So I wrote Kathmandu and Hong Kong in 2019, pretty much completely. I finished writing Kathmandu and published that, and wrote Hong Kong and published that in 2019, at the end of 2019. Last year, I called it the year of investment. These powerful words I'm using here. Yeah. And that really, for me, was the idea that I'm giving up my main job now. This is about this not just becoming messing around anymore and writing a few words on the page. This is really about investing in writing as something that I want to do for the future. So, and I think I did that, because I went back through all the older books and tarted them up, made them as good as they possibly can be, released 3 new books, which I was really proud of, actually. 3 books in 1 year. And that was pretty good. I didn't complete everything I wanted. I've still got the books that I'm working on with Steve that I'm working on at the moment, and they're sort of top of the list this year to get finished and out to you, because they're brilliant and I really want to share them. I'm really excited. And because I've been writing them over such a long period of time, I go back and look at one. I'm like, this is a bloody good story. And then sort of forget, because we go on and do something else and whatever. So they really are cool. So this year, I've decided is going to be called the Year of Connection. That sounds good. And as you may know, I'm getting married this year, for one. If Martha is watching, I'm not on the comments at the moment, so I can't see. If Martha's watching, hi. And I've told Martha she needs to come on one of these Facebook Lives at some point. She needs to. So if you know her, or if you think that's a great idea, say, yeah, that's a great idea, because I want to encourage her, because she's so central. And Steve knows this because his wife is part of like his author business. She is a real encouragement to him, in the same way that Martha is just a massive encouragement to me, and I think she should be on the Facebook Live at some point, so we'll arrange it. So this year, the Year of Connection, but also this counts to you guys, and this is why I'm sharing this, not just to tell you about my feelings and stuff, although that's nice too. It's like a therapy session, isn't it? But it's because actually this year I want to talk to you guys more, but more frequently and in more depth. So I'm going to do that through these Facebook Lives, which I'm going to do almost every Wednesday. I'm not committing to do them every single Wednesday, but I'll do them almost every Wednesday. And it won't just be me talking. There'll be longer and more in-depth conversations with there. So next week, a guy called Ken Preston is coming on, who writes sort of thriller/horror books. Brilliant, fast-paced, Tarantino-esque books, which I've really enjoyed reading. The week after that, we've got Stephen Taylor coming on to join me. I haven't planned after that far ahead. Stephen writes like, how would you describe him, Stephen? If you're still in the comments, let me see if he still is. They're like London-based sort of gang, they're related to gangs. And this guy called Danny Pearson is his main character. This hard as nails ex sort of SAS guy who goes around solving trouble with brilliant, real fast-paced, gritty books. I've really enjoyed reading them. So for me, this year is about making these connections. I'm not going to do much Twitter. I'm not going to do much Instagram. I'm not really going to do my Facebook page that much, other than to do these Facebook Lives. But what I am going to do is, Stephen Taylor says his books are mentally fast, brutal thrillers. That's a great tagline there. Mentally fast. But what I am going to do is have these sorts of conversations that go on for a bit longer, that let you know me, that let me know you. And that, I think, is much more important. And I said in the email here that, of course, I do want my books to reach as many people as possible. I want them to be out there in the world. But actually, what's more important to me is having a decent, in-depth, really valued relationship with the people that are reading my books. That's what I've decided. So that's what this year for me as a writer is all about. What's your New Year's resolution? Do you do the same as me? Do you have a word or a letter or a theme, or do you just think, nah, bugger that, I'm not doing any of it? Let's have a look in the comments and see who's about. Alison, hi, happy New Year. How are you? How was your festive season? And Alison says, come on, Martha, come and say hello. Yes, too right. Come on, Martha. I don't think she's in the chat, because otherwise she'd have commented. Ian says, I resolved never to make one again years ago and stuck to it. In fact, I think I remember, Ian, us having that conversation in about 2006. New Year's resolutions are rubbish. I'm not doing that. Fair enough. Completely fair enough. I totally understand that. And that's one of the reasons why I don't make them in the traditional way. Because I sort of think you get to like September and you go, oh yeah, I'll get healthy in the new year. And actually what you're doing then is just putting it off, aren't you? And then you go, I'll get healthy in the summer. And then you go, I'll get healthy in the new. It just keeps going round and round and round. Stephen Taylor's cooking for us. Oh, thanks, mate. What are you making us? What are you cooking? And Steve Moore says he's 8 hours behind us. So it's 9 a.m. for him. Yeah, don't be having a beer at that time. That's okay on Christmas Day and between Christmas and New Year. But coffee is good. It's a good one for now. Stuart, that is amazing. Stuart, I had to read that twice because I wasn't quite sure that I got it right. I've decided he's going to learn how to fly a plane. Are you joking with that? Are you serious? Are you actually going to fly a plane? Is that because you want to come and see us more often in Nottingham? Stuart lives in Australia, so he's got a bit of a trek when he comes back to visit his Nottingham friends. Sausage casserole, Stephen Taylor says. That's a good dinner, good hearty dinner. I like a bit of sausage casserole. Alison says, I'm so not bothering this year. Just try and live life as much as I can with the family. That is a spot on New Year's resolution. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And Steve Moore says he usually waits until about 9:30 to start on the beers. Yeah, that's a good time. That's fine. I was worried for a second there, mate. That half an hour makes all the difference. So this has got me thinking, though, because I'm sort of planning these ways to have more meaningful conversations and more meaningful sort of links with you guys and girls, the people that read and enjoy my books. I was thinking of ways to do this. And your suggestions here are completely 100% welcome, because I'm not sure the best way to do this. I know some authors do a thing called Patreon, which is where readers support the author a couple of dollars or a couple of pounds a month, and then they get like a perk in kind. Maybe it's a free copy of the next book that comes out. Maybe it's like a signed copy or something like that. That's in my mind. Another one is doing like limited edition copies of the books. I've spoken about doing these sorts of things before, but doing sort of like 50, when a new book comes out, doing 50 signed copies, or probably maybe less. 50 is a lot, but maybe I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure on the number, but doing something so that if you want to support me more so than just buying a book for £2 or £3 on Amazon 4 times a year when they come out, there's a way for you to do that, which can help us both out, because this is my job, this is my profession, this keeps the lights on, and for you're getting extra value because you're getting a special signed edition or earlier than someone else or something like this. I'm totally up for your suggestions. Let me know, what do you think? Stuart Harper says, for real, purely to see you guys and take us to Ibiza. That would be insane. I'm not sure I'd trust you to drive home though, Stuart. You can drive us there. I'll make my own way back after a week in Ibiza. Yeah. Yes, exactly, Ian. I don't want to be signing more than, a few. And plus they aren't limited editions, are they? You know what I mean? If I did everyone gets one, well, there's nothing special there, is there? It's got to be limited by some number. Maybe I won't tell what the number is. Maybe I'll know, but I won't tell everyone. Is that something you'd be interested in? Remember, even if you put these in the comments after I have gone offline, you know, in the future. It still notifies me. It still tells me what you're thinking. And I massively appreciate that. If you're on my mailing list, you'll have that email already nestling into your inbox. So have a look, read it through, and just hit reply and let me know there too. If you're not on my mailing list, I'd love you to do that. Where is it? Where is the one about? There's my email. There's my website. You go there, pop it in at the top, and you'll get a free copy of Kotao, the novella, just for signing up if you haven't already, which I think is a good book. I'm really pleased with it. So yeah, the idea of being in Kotao right now would be wonderful, though, in comparison to here in England. Oh, that was a nice day today. Alison says she definitely needs to listen to more of my DJ nights. Thoroughly enjoyed Saturday night. So we did a live set on Saturday for a friend of mine who was a DJ who died a few years back. This was the 6th anniversary, and I posted it on my Facebook feed. And a few people, including Alison, who never known me to DJ before, had just known me as a writer, clocked onto that, and it was interesting to see sort of the two things collide. How could that work, Alison? It was good fun though, wasn't it? We had what time did you stop listening? I think we must have gone through till some late hour. It was fun. It was very, very fun. You know, these sort of digital DJ sets, in the old days, you would have just gone to a nightclub, wouldn't you? As in the old days, 10 months ago. But actually, the fact that can connect with people like yourself and people all over the world, like Stuart has listened to a fair amount of my DJ sets we've shared a few DJ sets when he's been in Australia, you know, and I love that. I think that's brilliant. So John, hi John, how are you doing, mate? How was your Christmas and New Year? Fantastic. Thank you for coming in. It's fantastic to see you. He says, good evening, Luke. No resolutions for me, but I do fancy changing hospital trusts when things are more like it. It's one of those things, isn't it? Because you say to yourself, I've been in this job for X length of time, and yeah, it's time for a new one. By the way, I've got a new chair. Look, it's a spinny chair. My friend Perry gave it to me because he's moved house and didn't have space for this one. So I was like, yeah, I love that. Quite like it. I'm getting quite used to it. Leaning back and all sorts. There we go. Alison says about 2:30. Gosh, you were up late. Up till 2:30. I'm not sure I can even remember that far into the back through the night. It was very good fun though. I really enjoyed it. I wonder that, Alison, because I did wonder actually. One of the things about people getting more involved, so readers getting more involved, and like the Patreon thing, or maybe not even a Patreon thing, maybe just something just for people on my mailing list or something like this, whatever. I did think the idea of doing like a party night, you know, and having some music, having different like guest speakers do sort of 20-minute talk about something, and organizing like a few hours of like a party night with tunes, and we're all sharing drinks. And yeah, I thought that could be quite a fun thing to do at some point with you know, half a dozen, 10 of us who read my books or are interested in the things that I do. Just another idea of the sort of thing to get involved. What do you think? So I've said here, I've talked about this in my email that went out today. I was talking about ways to get you guys more involved in what I do. I want this year to get a more in-depth relationship with you guys, a more depth friendship with you guys. I love the fact you buy my books. I appreciate that 100%. It keeps the lights going, it keeps the heating on, and that's very, very important. And it keeps me having some money to go and buy those nice, tasty ales when I fancy them. Not today. But I'm interested at the moment in thinking of some ways to sort of connect with you more than just buying a book when I release it. So, you know, this is great. I love this, but maybe something further. So if you sign up and support me on Patreon or whatever, you get access to a special party every 2 months where we have drinks and hummus and listen to cool music, you know, and that sort of thing. I suppose it's different for different people in different time zones, that. But I mean, you could do it in the middle of the day. Like Steve Moore in America could join us at 9 a.m. Stuart could join us at 2 a.m. in Australia. It'd be fine. Right, let's have a look at some comments. John says he was working Christmas, but New Year was relaxing at home. Oh, that's fantastic, mate. Yeah, I do always feel for or appreciate people like yourself that work through the Christmas period in healthcare and that sort of thing, because it is can be a bit of a thankless task in those times, can't it? You're in bed before midnight as well on New Year's, gosh. But it was one of those where you couldn't go out, could you? You know what I mean? So me and Martha stayed up till about some late hour and drank some rum. There's some of it left up there. Not having it today, but it was nice. It was good. So Stuart was watching on for Chopper's night, after my friend Chopper's night as well. That's brilliant. Till about 10 a.m. you watched. Your sort of, what do you call it? Your sleep pattern, Stuart. It must be all over the place. Must be crazy. Alison says, love the idea, books with music theme. Not sure with that. Books and music. How could you link those? I'm not sure. I don't know. Let's ask some of the authors in here. Steve Taylor, could any music link to your books? Or Steve Moore, how could any music to link to your books? I don't know. I mean, there's a couple of mine that have nightclub scenes. Berlin has a nightclub scene, so I could do a couple of songs that would be played in there. New York has like a jazz club scene, so I could do some things that are played in there, some of the music that's played in there, perhaps. Yeah, I like it. Alison says, Alison's got all the ideas. I love this. Have a read along or sing along night where people pay a couple of quid to join in. That's exactly the sort of thing I'm thinking. So if or maybe something that's just for readers. So if you've bought a copy of the book, that's your treat to come along to this, or something. Or maybe there's like a special code in the back of some limited edition thing. Stephen Taylor says, I'm puzzled on that one, but open to ideas. What I mean, Stephen, by that is, what music is Danny Pearson into? You know what I mean? He's this sort of hard nut guy. Does he listen to something like, it's got to be a British band, doesn't he? So does he listen to someone like the Prodigy? You know, they're London based or Southern based as well, you know, or is he into sort of guitar-y music, you know, like the Sex Pistols or something? Yeah. So we're thinking about what music goes along with the characters that are in your book, or that's how I was thinking about it as well. Like, because my character Leo is a little bit sort of more sensitive. He's not a natural club goer, you know, but I think he'd quite like an acoustic sort of thing, you know, so he might like someone like Frank Turner, or someone of that sort of sound. But I don't know. And that could be good, couldn't it? Like a Leo and Alyssa's Spotify playlist. I'm going to write that down. Steve Moore says, I do listen to music when writing. Yes, I do as well. But just like noise rather than music, like background, meditative things, not like, you know, with words and stuff. Yeah. I suppose, Steve, you could play different music for different scenes. So you could do a clip for each scene and whatever. Stephen Taylor says his protagonist listens to the Cheeky Girls. Brutally fast killers. No, not killers. Brutally fast thrillers and the Cheeky Girls. They go together hand in hand. Love it. Alison, each person gets to read a chapter or two with the author. That could be cool, couldn't it? You know, I like that. I do like that. And ultimately, I do love the idea at some point of doing like, I'm going to be in this pub at 9 p.m. I was going to say 9 a.m. there. You know, if you fancy coming and just having a pint, that would be great. You know, just having that core crew of you guys who, you know, I love that idea. That's exactly the sort of thing that I'm looking to do this year. So suggestions are absolutely welcome. Leave them in the comments, even if you're watching this afterwards. I think I've got a thing with my email address on. No, I haven't. Yes, it is. There it is. Hold on a sec. I'm doing this live, as you can tell. There we go. Or send me your ideas there. You can either is fine. It does notify me, but I don't go on Facebook that often, as I said at the start of the show. I'm not a big Facebook. I've become less and less interested in it over the years. Like when I was a student and Ian Bond and I were housemates, I think I was on Facebook most of the time. But over the course of 15 years I've gone on it less and less. And now I go on. I've got the Messenger app on my phone, so I go on there when it notifies me or whatever. But I don't rarely go on Facebook. Even these broadcasts are broadcast to another platform that links to Facebook, so I don't actually go on there. So, but then I do check the day after and see any comments and see how many views it's had and all that sort of thing. So it's still worth having the comments there. But the best way to get in touch actually is probably via that email address. Stephen Taylor's off to enjoy his sausage casserole. Yes, see you tomorrow, mate. Thank you for popping in. And enjoy the sausage casserole. You know, I don't know how you burn a casserole though, because that's like, you know, it's got not an easy, isn't it? Just bung it in the oven for as long as you want and then it's ready. I don't know. I'm not really sure of this. So yeah, what was John's talked about his New Year's Eve arrangements. Got in bed at before midnight, which is great. I bet you feel better this week than the rest of us. What did everyone else get up to? What did you do? What was your thinking? Did you did you get some kind of Zoom call going? We had about 5 or 6 of us on a Zoom call counting down to midnight with the telly on in the background and the fireworks. I have to say, I'm not a fan of fireworks like when your neighbour gets a load from Bargain Booze and sets them off on his roof. That's not cool. But I do like the ones when they do a proper show, you know, on the Thames or in the Nottingham Market Square or wherever your local place is. They're great. I really like them because they do it proper to music and it's wicked. But yeah, just having people set them off randomly at any time, I always find a bit like, what's the point in that? You know? All right. I've talked for nearly half an hour, which is amazing. So just a reminder to you, beers and books is what we're calling this, or books and beer. Actually, I put books first because I do something to do with books more often than things to do with beer. That's what I've called this. I'm even thinking of getting a proper logo made. You know, I might get the guy who does my covers, Dave Behrens, to do like a nice little logo. And in fact, he should come on, shouldn't he, Dave Behrens? He's an author, writes some great books with Steve as well. So I'll contact him. We'll get him on here. Anyway, thinking of that, doing a proper logo and making it look official and all that sort of thing. And the point is, I'm going to have different people on here. Some of them will be authors, some of them won't be authors, some of them might be one of you guys. If you're interested, if you want to jump on, hopefully one of them will be Martha at some point, but she's not having any of it at the moment. We'll see. Next week we've got a guy called Ken Preston, all going well. And the following week we've got Stephen Taylor, who's been in the comments today. So I'm looking forward to both of those. And I'm sure we'll have Dave Cross in the comments. I'm sure we'll have a load of different people on over the course of the next 6 months. I'm even thinking of people that are related to the places that my books are set. So they're like, you know, my next one is planning on Riga. That's my plan. Someone who lived there, or someone who lives there, or someone who knows something about the history of that place, you know, so that it's some expert on the history of that place, you know, so that for me, it's actually book research, talking to this person, and I'd want to do it anyway. But for you guys, it'll be a nice little introduction into the story itself. What do you think? Let me know. Dave Cross says he's reading Viz whilst drinking Skol right now. Welcome. Brilliant taste in both respects. I do enjoy Viz and I do enjoy Skol. So always welcome. Alison, in bed by 7:30 p.m. with Beecham's and a hot water bottle on New Year's Eve. Oh, my days. First year in 7 that I didn't have the grandchildren. Oh, wow. Sounds very relaxing. It sounds very relaxing, Alison. I suppose that's it, isn't it? When you've got grandchildren, that's probably a prime night for their parents to be going out and enjoying themselves. So you probably got away with it a bit there. Not that I'm sure you mind having them on New Year's Eve. I bet it's nice all the same. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. It has as ever been lovely. I really do enjoy these conversations. Talking to you. I love it. It's perfect. I'm really excited for the next few months and getting the books out that I'm working on at the moment. I'm working on this third one with Steve Moore, set in San Francisco. I'm quite near the end, which is good. And then it's sort of editing time and tying those all together and getting them all looking amazing and sounding amazing. So that's our sort of job for the next 2 months, which I'm looking forward to doing and looking forward to sharing them. The question is, we don't know, will be the answer, because the question is, when will they be out? We don't know exactly, but you will be the first to know. And another question, I suppose, will be whether they will be out or Riga, which will be the next Leo and Alyssa book. At the moment, I'd suspect it will be one of the ones that I'm writing with Steve will be my next book to be released. And then the Riga one will probably come between books 1 and 2, or between books 2 and 3, depending on how long that takes me to write as well. How much time that takes me to do. Anyway, thank you so much. It's been lovely to have this conversation with you. I will see you again this time next week. If you want to let me know on any of the things we've talked about, answer in the comments or send me over an email. And the email address was on the screen a moment ago. Let me put it up again so that it stays there. There we go. Because I absolutely love talking to you. Thank you so much. I'll see you again.